Hi everyone, my name is Raquel, and we are going to be going over the stages of organizing a strike. So, I've organized strikes with Fridays for a Future, a climate oriented organization, and I'm basically going to be teaching you what I've learned from my mentors who have helped me organize and what I've learned throughout organizing and using their tips. So, essentially, knowing these stages can help you create agendas for your meetings so you can be situationally aware of when certain elements you will need to address throughout the organizing process. So, that's what this video is intended to do. And then I'd like you guys to remember that it's up to the entire group's participation and engagement that will correlate to the success of the strike from the ideas generated throughout organizing. Essentially, what that means is you're going to have a lot of ideas generated from your volunteers, but don't feel like it's up to you to make all of these things happen. You are really going to have to just let it to fate and let your trust your team. And if they end up being stellar, then it's going to be a stellar strike. If they are not going to be coming to your meetings and not really engage until the very end, it's probably not going to be a very great strike that everyone was hoping for. So here are the 6 stages of organizing the strike. First, you're going to be brainstorming, and I'm going to get into each of these individually. Then you're going to be actualizing, boosting, wrapping up, striking, and then your final steps. You can stop and pause and read, but we'll get into all of this. So, stage 1, here I like to brainstorm the what, when, and why. And for example, the why would be, why are we striking? Well, we're striking because of this. The Great Salt Lake is shrinking. And so that's going to be kind of like the theme of your event. And a lot of times when the theme is up in the air, people are going to have a lot of input. It should be about the gondola. It should be about the air quality. And you may not know what people truly want. So I like to create polls and get all of these things that we talked about in the meeting and put everyone's inputs and see what people voted on and liked the most. It saves a lot of time, and I wish I've done that a lot sooner. And also back into one, I like to assess my crew. I like to see who has skills and interests in certain areas. Some people are more artistic. Some people really like writing. Some people don't really know what they're doing or how to help. So that's an opportunity for you to kind of just have in your mind when going throughout these meetings on who you can delegate things to and who you can't, and who has an opportunity to learn things. Um, and sorry, so I kind of backtracked there, but next steps, after your poll has been filled out by all your members, discuss the outcomes in the next meeting. So after the poll has been filled out, you guys can move on to actualizing. Actualizing is just making these things happen and honing in on those details. So we were doing the Great Salt Lake. So honing in on those details, who can we get to talk about the Great Salt Lake? Who can we get to table at our event for the Great Salt Lake? Are there any artistic elements that we can have in our event for the Great Salt Lake? And we were able to accomplish getting speakers, but we actually were able to get people to table, or I forgot what the other thing was, but it's to say that some things may happen and some things may not. It just really depends. And so, yeah, that's more of the theme and how you're going to actualize that. But there's also the graphic element. So creating the media, the art that you're going to be sharing online, on posters, flyers. And we had some folks on the local team create some flyers that kind of looked like the Great Salt Lake was dying, because it is, but there is also the International Fridays for Future group. I don't know if I mentioned that I was part of them, but anyways, that we ordered shirts, posters, flyers from, and they already had graphics created. So it's really useful if you don't have time to create these things, the flyers and graphics yourself, that you can utilize that. But that might not be the case, especially if you're not part of an organization and you're um, doing a strike for something else. Um, so let's see. Sorry, someone just drove up to the house. I don't know if they're gonna knock, but we'll see. So continue touching base with the team on who they've contacted for tabling and speakers. So throughout the strike, once you are honing in on the theme, you're just going to be touch base with your team. Hey, what did so and so say? Can they make it? Can they not? And that's the logistical part. Securing permits should come sooner rather than later. You don't want to run into the police telling you can't be at the space you're utilizing. And yeah, let's move on to stage 3. So once graphics materials such as posters, flyers are ready, share them online and on social media. The sooner the better, so you can get the word out to as many people as you can. You can also start brainstorming about creating an event that it was just a FedEx truck, so we're good. So sorry. So you can create start brainstorming a time to get together with your team and maybe create an art build, which is a time you can make posters and striking signs that you'll carry at the strike, and that can be open to the community. So that's a way to get the word out. You can also create a time where just the volunteers or the community, and if they want to, and the community can get together and then share flyers in town. We've done this where we knock on doors to local businesses, and we ask them, hey, would you be willing to post our flyer up so we can get the word out? And yeah, that's another nice way to get the word out in town. And background, hopefully by this stage, you will have at least contacted all the people you guys thought of to reach out to, just at least so you have that out of the way and it's not weighing on your shoulders when you're trying to wrap up in stage 4. So, stage 4, the final boost. Keep sharing details about your event on social media, and have volunteers boosting the event on their personal platforms, but they don't have to. It's if they want to. Finalize logistics. Know who's speaking and tabling at your event. Have that like on a form or something that all your team has access to, or at least the MC has access to, so they can introduce them, and make sure that your team has communicated to those participants, speakers, and tablers, so they know where and when they need to be at your event. And then the documents part. So I've created different videos on this. So creating a media advisory, which is a document to let news outlets know that you're having an event and they should come cover it. And again, these documents, I will have a how-to video on how you can do that. And then draft a press release. So it's another informal, hey, news people, we had an event. So it comes after the event. So then they can hopefully cover it. And lastly, so probably like towards the end, last meeting, until your strike. Go over your team, the run of events, the roles they each have so it runs smoothly. You don't have to discuss it the day of. And don't be afraid to delegate these tasks. I found sometimes I put too much on my shoulders because I was too afraid to ask people to do things, and I didn't enjoy the strike whatsoever. Well, that's not true. I didn't get to sit back and watch it happen. I was like scurrying around, like trying to fix all these things, or not fix, but you get the gist. So, the more spread out the tasks are, the more likely people are going to enjoy the event. And then, you guessed it, strike time. Um, that's basically pretty self-explanatory. And then post-strike, the sixth stage, is sharing the fruits of what happened. Um, Photos, share how many people you got to come to your event, and you can have a final meeting, which I like to do, where your team discusses what went well, the roses, what went not so well, or what you would have liked to see, or what could have been better, the thorns. So we call that the roses and the thorns. And yeah, just sharing what happened online. And that's, oh, one more thing, and sharing the press release. The press release comes at the very, like, hopefully the same day as your strike. Hopefully you can get one of your team members to um, go to a coffee shop nearby and finish up the press release, send it out to the news people, so then they can have the like, it's like, this just barely happened. And that's what news people like. They like fresh stuff, not things that happened like a week or two ago. So yeah, and that's it. Thank you. Hope this helps the new and the experienced. Um, and yeah, that's me up there. Raquel, climate and racial justice activist. Thank you. Bye.